Friends, welcome in. Somebody just told me that we didn't have audio.
Oh no.
The entire man. It took all those minutes. All those minutes.
Oh my goodness.
We just had such a fun segment. We were talking, we were giving away prizes. Wow, unbelievable. Here we are. The audio's on now.
All right.
Good
morning, Rob.
Yeah, good morning, Karen. Good to see you. We won't repeat all of that. But Robbie, Russell, thank you for letting us know. The issue is we take this equipment out of the studio sometimes when we do our sports broadcasting, and then I've got to reset it up. And there's a checklist, that just Greg Smith would know this. As a pilot, you go through a checklist.
Right.
I don't have the checklist yet. And one of the checklists is whenever you reset the equipment, you make sure to choose the correct audio source. So even though I saw it here on one side, I didn't check it here. So we're on. So good morning, Karen.
All right, good morning.
Good to see you. If you didn't hear us this morning, that's on you. That's your equipment. So it was your stuff. It wasn't us. Rob Hipp here alongside Karen Denman, our good friends from Walker County Federal Credit Union, joining us as always on a Monday. We appreciate their generous support. We were just talking about the mamas out there, so happy belated Mother's Day.
Yes.
I know you didn't get to see your mom just because of all the storms and everything going through.
But I did get to visit with my daughter, so that was an added little plus. And so it was a good weekend, rain and all.
Great weekend. Karen and I were talking, too, about, just waking up with the attitude of gratitude every single morning. We were sitting here yakking away for 5 minutes. Nobody heard us. But, it is something to be thankful for every single day. And I had mentioned a friend of mine, unfortunately, his mother had passed away yesterday. And so my prayers and thoughts continue with my buddy Sean and a good friend of mine. But that is why I think it's so important that we wake up with just that attitude every morning to be thankful and to be grateful. And to really hug on people. Yesterday, Bridget and I, we went up to Georgetown. We were chatting a little bit about that, and it's only 3 hours away. That kind of feels like a waltz in the park now after all the traveling that we've done. But, her grandma was there yesterday, and her grandmother's in her early 90s, and so it was great to see. I call her Granny, and so I just gave Granny a big old hug. And every time I see Granny now, I just want to give her a big old hug every single time I see her.
And that probably made her day, too.
And I gave her 2 hugs.
Oh, well, then extra special.
Because it's like you give them a hug, and then you walk away, and you're like, man, I just want to give Granny another hug. So I gave her another hug yesterday.
Right.
So it's
Show Granny some love.
It is. It's great. We want to welcome you in. As always, our show is made possible on Mondays by our good friends at Walker County Federal Credit Union. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Denise is also joining us. Going to talk about HLI Class of 41.
Yes, and their awesome project that they just did at Rather Park.
And you were class of 29?
Yes.
That wasn't that long ago. That was just like 2 years ago,
right.
Karen.
Same as my age, 29.
Yeah.
Class 29.
And whenever we talk about these classes, this is the Huntsville Leadership Institute through the Huntsville Walker County Chamber of Commerce. They have 10 classes a year, so just kidding. They only have one per year. But we're going to be talking about Denise, some great projects that they've did with their class, including the big project, the ramp over at Rather Park, or the stage rather at Rather Park. And I was talking earlier about how Walker County Federal Credit Union, y'all's name is stamped on everything. It's stamped on that stage over there.
Yes, it is.
So
yep. We like to be involved.
Very important to be involved, and we couldn't be here on our show without our Foundation 5 sponsors. So again, we appreciate Walker County Federal Credit Union. Also, a big shout out this morning to Elliott's Jewelers, online at elliotsjewelers.com. He is our studio sponsor. And also want to give a big thank you to Paul Oley. We work in collaboration with Paul here to be able to bring you this show as well. So for all of your custom photography and much more framing, please go by and see Paul at the gallery. So yeah, it was a fun morning getting started. We were joking around earlier saying, oh, it's a Monday and here we are. But then once I get on the show with you, this is a perfect match here, Karen, because you bring a lot of energy on a Monday morning, and you and I are both kind of I don't really want to. But then here we are, and now we're rocking and rolling. So we kind of lift each other up.
Right.
So,
ready to get the week started on a positive note and have a good week.
That's right. And some great events happening over the weekend. Did you make it out to Wisniewski's to their big event?
I did.
What was that like?
I did. Well, it was wet because it rained a lot, but it was still good. It didn't seem to deter anyone. It stayed pretty packed almost the whole event.
What time did it start? A little bit earlier in the day, right? Like around 6 or so?
No, it started at 2.
Oh, at 2?
Yeah,
wow,
2,
even earlier than I thought. Okay.
Yeah, Denise was there, and she helped set up with one of the vendors there, and I was only going to stay for a couple hours, but I stayed till about 9.
So you've been busy. You were there involved with it. And Corey Morrow was there, right? Was it Corey Morrow?
Kevin Fowler.
Kevin Fowler, that's
Yeah.
right. They're all kind of in the same hodgepodge of Texas country, though. Like Kevin Fowler, Corey Morrow, Pat Green. I'll never forget the first country concert I ever went to was Stubbs Barbecue. in Austin, Texas. And I was in high school, and I was dating a young lady at the time. And I'll never forget, it was a Pat Green concert. There was maybe 50 people there. He wasn't that well known yet. Kevin Fowler got up on stage, and they were just going nuts. And it was like Stone Cold Steve Austin. The guy just starts slinging beer everywhere. We're in the front row, and again, there's only like 50 or 100 people there, so it's not like this huge setup anyways. But beer goes all over me. And the first thing that I'm thinking of is like, one, I'm not 21. Two, I'm, with a young lady. And three, I've got to go take her back home, and then I'm going to be at home. And so everybody's going to think I've been boozing all night.
Right. And if you get pulled over, you're going to reek of beer.
Yeah, so that was my first interaction of Texas country music, was getting beer poured all over me by those guys. So it was good times, though, back in the day.
Yeah.
And then you've been busy, too. Just wrapped up the crawfish boil there with Walker County Go Texan. What was that event like?
We had a good turnout. We had all the tables sold out. We even had some people calling after the fact wanting tables. We didn't run out of crawfish. We had plenty. It was good. It was a great event, and we raised lots of money for some scholarships. Application deadline is over, but our scholarship committee selected some winners, so we're excited.
Yeah, and I think 6 scholarships, and we're not talking like $100 scholarships. These are pretty substantial scholarships for area youth in Walker County.
Absolutely.
So that's great. So awesome work. Again, there she is again, Karen with Walker County Federal Credit Union, just staying busy. And then trivia night, is that tonight?
That is tonight at 6:30. Join us. It's at Rodeo every Monday. There are prizes for every round. So even if you don't win the grand prize, you could still win something each round. And then she gives away prizes for the grand prize, first, second, and third. So
awesome. And Delphina, she gives away prizes also?
Delphina does that, yes.
Okay, great. And what's usually like the grand prize?
It's a $25 gift certificate for your next visit to rodeo. The ones that you win during the round need to be used that night, but it's a lot of fun.
That's great. And whenever you say $25 at rodeo, I'm going to tell you that will go a long way. Delphina does amazing over there. The food is so good, and that's what I love about being back in Huntsville. I can go out to eat and not bust the bank, man, because when I was in Fargo, I love you, Fargo, by the way, and you know I love you guys, and there's always a lady, Jerica, that joins us every single morning from Fargo. But man, Bridget and I go out to eat, and it's just she and I, and we had the baby. It's like $60-$70, man.
Oh yeah.
So when I came back to Huntsville, I was like, I really miss like great food where I can just like pull out a $20 bill and I'm done. I'm paid for the whole night.
Right.
So.
Right.
Well, that is how we get rolling here today with Karen Denman, again from Walker County Federal Credit Union. We're going to hear from HLI Class 41 here in a minute, talk about some projects. Also, some banking services that Walker County Federal Credit Union joins. We're going to make it fun and entertaining, and a lot more to come here on the show today, Karen.
Awesome.
So, and it's also National Day of a few things, and we'll get to that at the end of the show. But I do want to jump off by saying this. It is National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Oh.
Are you a chocolate chip cookie fan?
I like anything chocolate.
See, Bridget's not a huge chocolate fan, but I'm trying to get her into it a little bit. So,
She doesn't like chocolate?
A little bit, but what are those things called? Ferrero Rocher? Am I saying that right?
Oh, yes, those are good.
Is that? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, though.
I think that's right, yeah.
It just sounds fun to say.
Yeah,
Ferrero
Rocher.
I want to get Fabio on this show with his long hair. I can't believe it's not butter.
Yes.
Spray. So we can't get Fabio on one of these days. Well, again, folks, let us know you're out there. We'd love to hear from you. We're going to step aside. We're going to take a break, and Miss Denise will join us. When we come back, we'll talk more about HLI Class 41, the project that they worked on, and also we're going to dig in a little bit about Walker County Federal Credit Union, what they have to offer. A great show lined up for you. The audio's loud and clear. Stay with us. We'll be back here in a moment. This is Good Morning Huntsville. Hey friends, welcome back in. Good morning, Huntsville, here on a Monday. As always, excited to bring you this show and talk about all the good things happening here throughout our community. Now joined by Miss Denise Olivas, the marketing coordinator at Walker County Federal Credit Union. What's going on, Denise?
Nothing. And everything at the same time.
Nothing and everything. And
Yes.
we were joking earlier, and so watch this. I'm going to flash this up on the screen here. This is Denise Olivas, marketing coordinator, WCFCU. But really it's like all-encompassing title.
Yes, one of many hats I wear at Walker County, yes.
Yeah, well, it's been fun. I got to know you a little bit. You've been Walker County Federal Credit Union for how long now? For 2 years.
Yes.
So I met you a couple of times, but we didn't interact a whole lot. And then when I came back, you've been helping me out. We got our account set up, my personal account. And I think it's important too to just recognize when a company really says what they say and do what they do, and that's what Walker County Federal Credit Union is. It was so cool to come down and sit with you because whenever I started Hello Huntsville, I needed, an account set up and I needed a business account set up, and you guided me through that process, and I forgot to put in my EIN, and you told me like 3 times.
I only told you 3 times. That's on me. I should have, 4 was going to be the magic number, and I messed that up.
So,
that's on me.
Well, Denise, wanted to talk to you this morning. We're going to dig in about HLI Class 41 first. You were in that class.
I am. Graduation is until June, so I'm still current class.
Is there still stuff you guys are doing until June, or is it like, are you all done and just waiting for the graduation
we actually have
now?
our last day tomorrow. Actually, that's going to be our final day together before graduation in June. So yeah.
What has that whole experience of HLI been? And again, we're talking about Huntsville Leadership Institute, Class of 41, been going on for a long time. And just kind of guide us through, how did you find out about it, and what's that whole experience been like for you?
Well, actually, I found out about it through work, through Walker County Federal Credit Union. We've had several go through it. Karen, of course, has been in it, and she was a big part of HLI afterwards as well. So we try to have somebody in there almost every session. So this one was my turn.
What did you learn through that whole process? Was there's
much.
So many things probably, like you think, hey, I know all about the community. Then you get in there and there's this whole new world of the community,
Oh my
right?
God, yes. I've been here 14 years now in Huntsville, and every month I had no idea. Like, you really do learn so much. You have no idea how much is going on behind the scenes, and just things you drive by every day and you don't even realize how much is going on in there.
You learn a lot about like the city and the inner workings behind the city.
Laura Green does a great job at the chamber. She sets them up for every month. So we had one day was all about like TDC. We went to a couple of the units. We went to the new jail, to the new police department. We've had a whole city day. We stopped by the courthouse. It's just a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. Again, Denise Olivas joining us, the marketing coordinator / almost everything at Walker County Federal Credit Union, receptionist. Hey, if you're in there and they need a teller, you'll probably step up and do a little telling.
I can do
right?
it all. Yes, absolutely.
Talking about HLI Class of 41 and a big project, Justin Killingsworth is on this show as well as one of our Foundation 5 sponsors,
Yes.
and we've talked a little bit about it, but from your perspective, it's great to hear someone else too that's part of this amazing class. The Rather Park stage, I finally got over there. It's
pretty
awesome.
impressive.
It is awesome.
Yes, even we knew what we wanted going into it, but once it got up, we were all like, this is awesome. Like, I think it was more than any of us imagined going into it. So we're pretty excited, and it's exciting every time when they were building, and once it was set up and we went by and kind of checked on it, and there was pretty much every time we've gone by, there's been somebody using it. So, the different dance groups around town, they'll be there and they'll use it for practice. So it's been amazing to see it go to use. And
Yeah, Cinco de Mayo had their big turnout there, and I heard that went really well. And it's literally just a block down from us. And the other day, I finally took a moment to go walk down there and see it in person and just walk up to the stage and walk on the stage. And you think about how something that, when you're on the outside, you think, it's just a stage, but then there's so much more to it because it brings an opportunity for musicians to come in. And before, no offense, but it was just this little tiny platform.
It's not that much bigger. The one before was, I believe, 16 by 20. This is 20 by 20, but it looks and it feels so much bigger.
And it's covered.
Yes.
Which is very important as well.
It makes a big difference. It really does.
And I was walking over there earlier, and the reason I went by is I saw Justin and also our new Main Street manager, Rebecca, was over there, and she's doing a wonderful job. And I'm
we
sure
love Rebecca.
we'll have her on here before too long on the show. But Justin had bought some lights, and the city installed them. So now there's these strobe lights. I mean, this thing's going to get
I haven't seen
hopping.
the lights yet, but yeah, I know they just installed those. We were hoping those would be up, but by the time we did our grand opening, but yeah, we were excited about those too.
Denise, how does every HLI class has to have a project? I mean, that's a requirement. So how does that process work? How do you guys collectively decide on, hey, here's what we're going to do? Because there's, 20, 25 people?
We started with like 24, 25. We unfortunately lost a couple. So I think we ended up with 21 maybe to finish out.
So trying to collectively 21 people, how do you do that?
Ours was a little chaotic, but we made it work. Our very first session together, we did a big retreat. So we kind of, one day, we just kind of, everybody throw out ideas, and we'll go from there, kind of vote on, get 2 or 3 favorites and put a vote together and go from there.
What were some of the other project ideas?
I know there was something with Rita B. Huff.
So just a whole hodgepodge that everybody
just
thinks
everybody
of.
kind of things that they saw or that they wanted to see happen around the community.
Awesome. I was asking you that because when I plan on HLI, you're giving me some ideas of organizations I can contact. So we appreciate that.
Well, I think from now on they're kind of restructuring it. Not to say that it was our fault, but I think there might be some suggestions put together beforehand, and then they can vote on them once they get in there.
Yeah, well, that's great though. I mean, it's just tremendous what you guys do through these HLI classes. You know, I wanted to do one 4 years ago, and then like every year something had kind of came in to where I wasn't able to do it. So now maybe I'm in a position to finally get involved with HLI.
I mean, it's a commitment, but it's just once a month that you have to give up your day. But it's definitely worth it, I think. I think people that have been born and raised here, you learn something for sure.
It's cool too because it gets you out of the credit union for a day. So
It
it's like a paid work day for you, right?
It absolutely is. But it is a long day. It's you're not just hanging out by the end of the day, we're all exhausted, but it's always a good day.
Do you ever have chances? I saw one class had went down to like the state capitol. Do you guys ever get to do things like that?
We did not. All of it's been local, but we have people come in from, all over and talk to us, and it's pretty special.
Awesome. Well, again, Denise Olivas joining us here. A lot of folks chiming in this morning. Rick Boning, by the way, from Tomorrow's Promise, saying Class 38 was the best. So.
Okay, you know what? We'll give that to everybody. Everybody says they're the best class ever, but we're Class 41, second to none.
So, yeah, Rick, this morning he is joining us from Oklahoma, and they will not be on with us Wednesday. We're going to have Robin Logan, who works at Tomorrow's Promise. She's going to be on.
Robin is actually in my
us.
class this year, so.
Awesome. See,
yeah,
it's just
she's part of the
there.
group.
You go, Rick. There you go. So 41, the best ever.
Well represented.
Well, hey, Denise, good to have you in this morning. I want to talk more about some things going on at Walker County Federal Credit Union.
Right.
As I said earlier, you helped me get my accounts going, transparent, easy process.
Yes.
We're, 2 months into it here, and I've already lost one of my cards. I called. You're like, Rob, I'll get you another one. Don't worry about it. So that already happened. But, there's an opportunity, too, where I was trying to work on a few things, and I'd reached out to you saying, hey, I've got an opportunity to where there's a potential business opportunity for me down the road. Can you help with that? And you said, yeah, certainly. And so you've been kind of guiding me through some steps, SBA loans and all that. I mean, there's a lot of things that you guys do on the business side of banking at Walker County Federal Credit Union.
Well, yeah, we do. We started doing the business accounts right after I started, right when I started. So it's been about 2 years. So we've just kind of been building that. And I mean, the lending side of it, it's not really something we advertise too much, but it's definitely something we offer. So, whenever you do come in, if you're opening that business account, it's something that we can discuss, and it's we've been able to help quite a few.
I wanted to highlight it too because, and I know when you start talking about like banking and financial, sometimes you think, oh, that's just kind of dry, but it's not. It's exciting because
there's a lot.
When you think of going to big banks and not putting down any big corporate bank, I was in a corporate bank for 20 years. When we sold our house in Georgetown, they decided to ungrandfather me after 20 years of me being a loyal customer. And all of a sudden, I went from having no service charges at all, to no longer getting free checks, which they always gave me free checks. But who uses checks anymore? Not a whole lot of folks,
not
but they
too
do. But then the biggest thing was the service charges. And I started getting a $25 a month fee on my person. I was like, what is up with this, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, well, whenever you sold your house, your mortgage is no longer with us, and so now you're not grandfathered in anymore.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I'm just going to grandfather my way out of your bank. And they offered me a fee for $11 a month. And I was like, are you serious? You're still going to...
With the discounted fee.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
still a
sir,
fee.
if you keep $10,000 in that account, we'll waive the fee. I'm like, brother, you probably don't even have $10,000 in your
Yeah.
account.
Wow.
And so that's whenever Bridget and I had moved to Fargo, and we were still with that national bank chain. But then when we decided, hey, we're coming back to Huntsville, we needed to find a bank that would fit our needs and still offer the services that I was accustomed to before all these big changes. That was one of the main reasons, besides knowing Karen and the work that Walker County does throughout, Walker County Federal Credit Union does, was I walked in and they're like, there's no fees here for setting up these accounts.
Nope.
So tell us how that process works. I did have to pay a membership fee, but it was nothing.
$5.
Yeah.
$5, and that's just for the credit union, because you are a member. You're not a client. You're not just a customer. You are a member of the credit union. So that is your membership for the credit union, and that affords you all of the perks of having that membership. So yeah, you come in, no monthly service fees, no minimums you have to maintain in your accounts. We're not going to penalize you for having your account or for using your account for what you need it. So
I think it's a
big
really
thing.
cool, because I never thought as like just a average guy here living in town working, just like the majority of folks. We're all working, we're all trying to make a living, we're all trying to grow our families and just enjoy life. I never thought that I would have an account at a credit union, because I thought it was like this special exclusive club that only like VIPs could be a part of. Well, the cool news is you can be an average Joe like me, and you can be part of the club, and you can feel important, and you know that these folks are going to make you feel like you're special. You're not just number 400,282. You're Rob, you're Sarah, you're John.
That's right.
So that's what I love. Whenever I walk in, I have to say this about Karen too. Man, Karen, I love you, Karen. And I don't know how she does this, but when I had my IT company after 14 years, man, I started like trying to migrate to the back whenever customer, not in a bad way. It's just like I had so much to do, and I love talking to people. But it got to a point where I wouldn't get any work done because they'd walk in and we'd just start talking, and like 3 hours later, I'm like, man, I've got 20 jobs I got to do. Karen's desk is right there when you walk in. So I always walk in, hey, Karen, and she always waves and smiles and says, hey, Rob. And I'm just thinking, if I do this, probably 100 other people a day do this as well. So when you talk about Karen and how prominent she is with the bank, she's right up front. With the credit union, she's right up front, and she's going to wave at you and say hello. She's going to keep working, though, and I love that about Karen. So,
she'll type with one hand and wave with the other.
and the same way with you. I mean, all of y'all's offices are right there. So.
Big windows. We don't have anything closed off. We can see you. You can see us. Just walk right in. And we love that. That's our big. We really push for that, and we love. We joke about like we're receptionists as well, and we are. You call up there, and you're going to talk to one of 10, 11 people there, including Toy. She's our CEO. She'll answer the phone sometimes. So, we want it to feel like this is your home. This is, it's down home banking.
That's right. I think of it like this, and you said down home banking, I think of like down home country cooking. It all goes together.
Yes.
And it literally is. And so I never thought that I could sit here on a show on a Monday and get excited about a bank, but I can because of how great you guys are and what you do in the community, and it shows. And I think the neatest thing, too, about banking in Walker County Federal Credit Union is, again, from someone on the outside that never was a part of a credit union before, I think, okay, this bank has one location, so they're not going to be able to serve all of my needs because it's just a small one-location bank. But actually, not only can you serve all my needs, you give me more needs than I'm used to, and I can still use my card anywhere in the U.S.
Yes.
I can use my app to deposit checks. I can do everything that these big banks that have 1 million locations can do, and I think that's cool.
Yeah, we just we went through a bit of growing pains. We just did a big system upgrade, and a big part of that was because we want you to have all of those features that these big banks can offer you, and that's, if there was anything that people wanted, and they told us, hey, I wish we had that. We strive to be able to provide that, and that's one of the big things we did with this upgrade. And we did some upgrades on those on the app and the online banking to give you those features that everybody wants.
Again, Denise Olivas joining us this morning here. She's the marketing coordinator over at Walker County Federal Credit Union. We talked about HLI and the work that she did there with the HLI class, but then also talking about the bank and the credit union. Do you refer to it as a bank or credit union?
It's it's easy to kind of lump it in, but we are a credit union. There is a difference between a bank and a credit union, but we don't mind if you call us a bank. It's okay.
Yeah, I keep catching myself. It's like Kay Boning, whenever she's on, I say Montessori, and she's like, it's Montessori with an S.
She will correct
so
you.
So now I'm thinking of, and it's also not a daycare, it is a child care educational center.
Yes.
So, these are things that I'm learning and I'm picking up on every single week.
She'll say it real politely, though, but she will correct you.
That's right. Well, Denise, before we let you go, again, business accounts. If you're a business out there, maybe you're tired of your current bank and you said, I just need to find somebody somewhere where I feel like they're going to take care of me, where I can walk in, where I can talk to somebody. Business accounts, go by and see Denise and Karen. They will set you up and take care of you.
And we will. It's not just to set up and then forget about you. We will service it. If you need anything, like, you lose your debit card after a couple of weeks, I will get you another one.
Was there a limit on losing those, by the way?
Nah,
okay.
Not for you.
All right, appreciate it. So don't lose it every single day. But yeah, it really was like I called you guys, and and it was, again, going back to like big banks. I was used to like my big bank. I could go on the app. I could say, I lost my card, send me a new one. You guys, it's so much more personable because I pick up the phone, I call you, you answer the phone, there's no wait. And I'm like, hey, Denise, I lost my card. I got you, Rob. Don't worry. Boom, done.
It's
Less
done.
than a minute later.
Yep.
And he said, don't do it again, because then I will charge you $100. There's no fees, by the way. So awesome. Our good friend, too, check this out. Joining us this morning here, Melissa Barham, saying Denise is awesome, a hard-working girl.
Another one of my HLI friends over at Advantage Specialties.
Yeah, so she's chiming in this morning. Good morning, Melissa from Advantage Specialties. Good to hear from you. Denise, before we let you go, been a fun morning. Thanks for being here. I always ask all of our guests that come on the show, what do you love most about Huntsville? When you wake up every day, you've been here 14 years. What are you just so thankful for about this community?
It's the community. It's everybody's very close knit. It's it still feels very small town. Even though Huntsville is growing quite a bit, it's still very much a small town, and it has that small town community feel, and I love that. And you were talking about all the events and stuff, and we are very involved with the credit union. So if there's something going on, there's a very good chance you're going to see me and Karen there representing the credit union, and we love it. That's it's one of the best parts of my job, and it's one of the best parts of Huntsville.
What have you seen for you being in here 14 years? What has been some of the neat things that you've seen in those 14 years, maybe as far as growth?
You can just look around and see all the new stuff that's coming in, and it's just...
Because I'd imagine 14 years ago, 45, there was nothing out there,
No, there was nothing on that other side.
What was there? Nothing? Was it just trees?
Walmart.
So that was it?
Past Walmart, there was nothing, yeah. That's all new since I've been here. And then all of this downtown stuff that it's being renovated, and with Main Street and all of that, they're doing all these updates and upgrades to the downtown area. It's good to see. It's nice to see it.
And when you think about like the updates and the upgrades, man, you think today's the 15th. We need to, what is it, 7:47? I don't know what time they open. We need to cut this show off and go over to Cafe Tex, and they're opening this morning, I believe.
It is today.
I think today is the opening.
Oh,
so.
I saw their brunch menu too. It looks delicious.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
And some people were chatting online saying, well, it's not going to be the same Cafe Texan. It's going to be a lot more expensive. And then I looked at the menus, and compared to today's food prices, it's not that bad.
It didn't feel pricey to me. Everything sounds really delicious. I'm excited to try it.
We got on that menu last night, Bridget and I and her dad yesterday, and I was looking, I said, man, this looks so good. I was getting hung. I was getting a little hangry up in there.
Yes, yeah, I'm excited to try that.
But it's neat to see, all those improvements in places like Cafe Texan on the Square that's just going to draw in more people. The museum that's over there now, and so it's really a world museum of all these different artifacts from all over. So
yep. It's beautiful in there.
Awesome. Denise, one last question.
Okay.
14 years ago, you came to Huntsville. What was it like coming here? Because I think it's important for folks to know, maybe you're thinking about moving to a new community. Maybe you're thinking about moving to Huntsville. People here embrace you.
They do.
And
They really
I
do.
wanted you to kind of talk about that when you came 14 years ago. What was that like for you?
It definitely wasn't planned. I had a friend that moved here. She had family in Willis, so she moved here to Huntsville. I came to visit her for a weekend, and I literally decided that weekend, I said, you know what, I'm going to move here. And about a month later, I did. It just felt, you know, there's a university here, and you think, oh, it's going to be crazy. It's not. You would not know that there's such a big university here, and it's just so calming, and you can still go out in the evenings and just relax and sit out on the porch, and it's great. I love it.
It's funny, yeah, because I'm glad you brought up Sam Houston State. They just had their graduation, by the way, so congratulations to all the graduates. But it's, you know, Sam Houston State is a big part of this community, and so is TDCJ and so many other employers as well. But when you think of 22,000 students, and this is a positive thing, I'm not saying it negatively, Huntsville doesn't seem like a college town.
It does not. It really
Everything
doesn't.
is kind of meshing together the way that I think it always has wanted to be.
The students are definitely a part of the community. You know, they fit in well. They're very respectful, and I feel like a lot of them end up kind of sticking around for a bit. You know, even when there's breaks, they're just a part of the community, and I think they enjoy the quiet and not having a crazy college experience. You know, but it's still I think it's a good sense of home for them being away.
I was driving in this morning, and in my mind I was thinking I love Huntsville because it's literally 10 minutes anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
But then I was also thinking about 7 of those minutes are just getting out of the neighborhood. I live in the back part of Elkins, and it's like 7 minutes to go out of that
to get out of there
to get to the access road. But after that, it's still 10 minutes to get anywhere you want to be.
Yeah.
And if I get out of my house by 6:25, I've got to hit it right on the money.
You know it to the minute.
I'm telling you, sister, if it's 6:26, I get behind that school bus,
Oh, yes.
and it adds 10 minutes to my drive.
Yeah.
So as long as it's 6:25 or prior, and this morning, man, it was 6:24. I'm in the driveway. I'm ready to roll out. I usually get up about 5 or so, and then I take a little bit of time getting ready. 6:24, I get out. My short-term memory, I was like, man, I forgot to close the garage door. I'm forgetting stuff left and right. I drive back. The garage door was closed, by the way. I just thought that I forgot it. And I don't want to leave it open. Bridget's there. The baby's there. I want to close the garage door. Well, then I get out, and I was like, doggone it, man. It's like 6:25 now. One more minute, I'm going to hit that stinking bus. By the way, I love you, bus drivers. I'm just telling you that, like, I know how to time this thing because there's like 20 stops in front of me with these kiddos, and you can't get around them.
Oh, no.
You have to stop when that red stop sign comes out. So I'm sitting there cruising, and then guess what happens, Denise? I get over here to the intersection where Smiley's is, in 45.
Yes.
And I'm pulling up. What's that road back there? Is that 19 that's back behind there?
That crosses this way?
Yeah. I think and that goes 19 goes all the way to Willis, right? And all that back in the back of there, I think it is.
Oh, maybe you're thinking of 75.
75,
Yeah.
That's what it is, 75. And so I'm right there at that intersection because 75 and Smiley's and all that. Man, some 18-wheeler pulls up in front of me at that four-way stop. And a lot of times those guys are like, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, no, not that one.
Not that one, man. He was like, he had his little walkie-talkie on. He was talking.
He's not from Huntsville.
No, he ain't from no Huntsville. And so he just, but luckily, by the grace of God, I said, Lord, please. And I'm telling you, prayer works. I said, Lord, please. And God knew what I was thinking because he knows our thoughts before we even think them.
Yeah.
I was already thinking, like, please, Lord, direct that 18-wheeler to the interstate. Thank goodness, because sometimes they go straight. He turned left. So I still missed that bus. And I looked over to my right, and what did I see?
Here comes the bus.
Big old yellow banana cruising right over. And I was like, I beat you, buddy. So anyways, don't know why we got on that topic this morning, but that's what we do here on Good Morning Huntsville. So Denise, thanks for being on this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you. Please go by and see Denise and all the great folks over at Walker County Federal Credit Union. They will take excellent care of you.
Well, now that I know, we'll probably have some chocolate chip cookies at the credit union.
That's right. Hey, I'm going to tell y'all, though, that is one thing. Maybe I'm going to speak this into existence right here, right now. There was a bank in North Dakota, nice folks, and I told you that I was with this big national chain. Well, I did find a smaller local bank, not as good as Walker County Federal Credit Union, but I did find one there. The great thing that they had was an oven, and they baked cookies every day.
We talked about this, yes.
So,
and that's, you know what, since I started, that's one of the things Karen has been.
Look, I'm sitting there talking. She's taking out a notepad.
We should get an oven back here. And
yeah.
You're not the first one. We've had a couple people suggest that, so maybe.
All right, we're going to figure out a way to.
That might have to go into the marketing budget.
Maybe we can sponsor that. We'll figure out how to make that happen. So once again, Denise joining us. Thank you for being here, Denise.
Thank you for having me.
We'll step aside. We'll take a break. We got a lot more to come here on Good Morning Huntsville. Let us know that you're out there. You can send a comment. And by the way, earlier, forgot about this because you didn't catch the audio. We are giving away every single day. We give away prizes. Justin Killingsworth started something here. Now we've got to come up with like 200 prizes a year.
He's good at that.
He is. And so this week, we are giving away $25 gift certificates to the Color Bar. That is a huge deal because you're not going to spend an arm and a leg over there to begin with. $25 gift certificates all week long. Guys, if you're out there, maybe you got your lady that's saying, you know what, maybe I can win this gift certificate for her. Maybe you messed up on Mother's Day and you got like some cheap one-off rose at the gas station down the street and you need to step it up. This is your chance to step it up, guys. I love you. All you got to do right now is comment. Just put hashtag Visit Huntsville TX, hashtag Good Morning Huntsville, whatever you want to. Our system will pick it up. Just comment with the hashtag and then like this broadcast and just hit that share button. That's all you have to do, and you automatically be entered to win one of these Color Bar gift certificates.
They're wonderful over there.
That is it. So we'll step aside. We'll take a break. Karen Denman rejoins us when we come back. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Huntsville. Welcome back in. Rob Hipp here as always. Thanks for spending your Monday with us. Happy Monday. A little Monday yay going on in here.
Yay.
Somebody they said, Rob, it's so corny when you say Friday. I'm like, no, it's not, man. I want every day to be a yay day.
Yes.
If somebody's bitter about that, you need to check yourself, guys. Look, you got to wake up every day with that attitude. I'm going to say it every single show. Wake up with the attitude of gratitude. And in all seriousness, I know some of you today may be facing hardship. You know, just like my friend who unfortunately lost his mother yesterday on Mother's Day. We don't know what everyone is going through with the loss in a family or with relationships or people in a financial situation that they feel like they can't get out of. I just want to remind you today that life is so important, and that's why it's so important to be around your friends and those that can really lift you up. And if you're in a circle of people that's going to drag you down all the time, you know what, man, it's time to get out of that circle. And I've been involved in that, and I'm not talking about anybody, Karen, or putting anybody down because there's different circles for different people. But there was folks in my past that I was close to that it just seemed like every day it was one more complaint, one more struggle. And all of a sudden you realize that you become part of that atmosphere. And, you know, as hard as it was, some of those people I still talk to every once in a while, but it's no longer like every day getting on the phone like, hey, what's going on? Because I don't want to be like pulled into that negativity. I want to try to be around positive people that are going to lift me up and encourage me when I'm down. Not like, you know, sometimes you tell people like, I'm having a terrible day. And then their first reaction is, oh, me too, man. It's terrible. It sucks. Everything's going, you know, I don't want to be around that.
Right.
And I'm not knocking. I love people, man, and I don't mean that in a disheartening way. But I think that's why it's so important that we do need to be while we're in a situation, like we acknowledge our circumstance, but we don't have to live our circumstance. That's the way that I heard it one time, and it made so much sense. Like if we're in that situation to where we're hurting, we can acknowledge that, but we can also choose to think that we're going to overcome that.
Right. This too shall pass.
Yeah, and that's 100% the way to think about it. So. You know, just like that bank that was charging me them fees, this too shall pass. And I passed right on and went to Walker County Federal Credit Union, and I passed to the great people such as Karen Denman taking care of me here in Huntsville. I got to ask you this. Karen, I don't think I've asked you on the show yet. Is it Huntsville or Huntsville? Or does it depend on how many Dos Equis and what time of day it is?
Yeah, pretty much. Sometimes I say Huntsville, but then sometimes I say Huntsville.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it just depends.
I started last week, I started saying good morning, Huntsville. And it's starting to like catch on. It's starting to feel pretty good when it comes out the mouth, like
Yeah.
good morning, Huntsville. How y'all doing?
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
going on? It feels good. Somebody up in Fargo was like, I don't really like your southernness, Rob. And I said, well, I love my southernness, y'all.
My goodness, somebody said that?
Yeah, somebody told me that, man. And I'm
How
sure it's
rude.
but it's the same anywhere else you go. Like down, it's different cultures. And that's what I love about going different places and meeting different people, because there's so much culture right here in the United States that once you get out of a little bit of a shell and you experience it, you're like, this is really cool. Like, it was neat. I loved being up in Fargo for 8 months because we got to meet so many incredible people. And I learned things that we say here, may not be taken in the same way up there, like saying yes, sir, and no, sir. And it's not like down here, we consider it rude not to say that.
Right.
And so it's neat, not knocking on people, but it's just neat to experience different cultures, because then you're thinking, oh, okay, I never thought about it like that before.
Right.
So
Yeah.
have you ever been in that situation?
Just like bless your heart.
Yeah, just bless
Well,
your
Southerners probably don't mean it the same way as other people do.
Yeah, my father-in-law, I love what he always says. He always says, God love it.
Yes.
I
yes.
never heard that
God
before.
love it.
God love it.
Yeah.
So like Braylon, he'll be holding little Braylon, his granddaughter, and he'll just be, God love it. And I'm like, that's so sweet, man. Like, it hits me. So whenever I walked into Walker County Federal Credit Union, I was like, God love it. They're just so good people over there. They're great. Man, we're having too much fun this morning. Garrick Long joining us as well. He's chiming in saying good morning to Denise and I. Didn't get that up in time. Also, Rick Boning chiming in again saying Karen and WCFCU are great. Robbie Diamonds, earlier we were talking about Robin Logan. He says, Robin, the best sister ever. And you know what's cool? I've told this before, so I'm not ashamed of saying it because I love my name. My real name is Robin. Did you know that, Karen?
I did know that. You told me that. Yeah.
Did I put down Rob on my account, though? I think I did. And that's what's cool, because you're like a legal name, but the IRS knows me as both. They even have me in there as Rabin, Rabin.
Yeah,
So
the IRS will find you regardless.
Somehow someone misheard my name, and so now I'm also Rabin. So, hey, Rabin, what's up, man? I don't know how that happened. So, Karen, I've seen some cool things that you've been able to do over the years, too. And when we talk about culture and just getting to experience different places, I mean, you've been to Mexico on some trips and visited. What has that been like for you, just, getting out of Huntsville and then going to different places, different countries? How cool has that been for you?
It's awesome. Yes. I would go once a month if I could afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
if
where
I
was
had
that at?
much
Like, is it like
vacation time.
Cozumel?
Oh, yeah.
That's like-
Cozumel,
you-
Cancun, Cabo, Jamaica, Puerto Vallarta.
You can really tell, like, the real Southern coming on me. Is that Cozumel down there? Come on.
Cancun.
Cancun, boy, I tell you what. The only time that I've been out of country, it's been a couple of times. I've been to the Northwest, so going through Seattle. My cousin used to live in right outside of Bellevue in Redmond. He worked for Microsoft for a long time, and so I flew up to go see him, and it was cool because we went to Victoria, Canada, and there's a place there called the Bouchard Gardens. And I never thought, like, as a guy, I would be encapsulated by a garden. Like, I would think it was cool it wouldn't be on my bucket list. Let me put
Right.
it that way. Just to say, like, man, I can't wait to go to this flower garden. I'm going to tell you what, it was one of the most interesting, it was one of the coolest places that I've ever been. And again, if you're from Texas, it's the Bouchard Gardens, but I'm sure it's pronounced like Bouchard or something, but I call it the Bouchard. It's the Bouchard Gardens.
That's how I would say it, too.
But I'm going to tell you, I got to show maybe next week, I'll pull up some pictures of that trip, because it was years ago, but it was beautiful. And Victoria is known as the City of Flowers, and it's in Canada. So even though we were in Redmond, we ended up leaving from Seattle on this thing called the Victoria Clipper. And it was just it's like you're on this, basically the small ship that's kind of like a bus, the seating, and you go 3 hours and all of a sudden you're in Canada. And so we went to experience that. That was really cool to see that. And then many years later, this was way before Bridget, there was a friend of mine that I was dating at the time, and she and I had actually split up, but we remained really good friends. It was one of those weird kind of relationships, like, I don't think we're like fit to be together, but we'll stay friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of cool to have that. And so she ended up moving up to upstate New York with her cousin for a while. And it was cool because I drove all the way up to upstate New York to take her to her cousin's. Well, she had went with her dad to a plumbing convention in Tennessee. So for the first leg of the trip, it was me, her dog, and her, what was those called? The Mustang, convertible Mustang. When you're trying to travel in a convertible Mustang,
yeah.
those things are already tight. especially
Yeah.
for like a big dude like me. I could barely fit in that thing. And then having a dog in there on top of that, I had to cruise in that thing all the way to upstate New York. But it was one of the coolest trips, you know, at the time, because we went up to upstate New York, and this was right after, you know, maybe a few years after 9/11, and things were really, really strict, but maybe not as strict as they are now. And it was kind of weird because, you know, everything went on lockdown. But I'll never forget this, Karen, because if you go to Niagara Falls, you have to go to the Canadian side, to Niagara Falls, Canada. I didn't realize that there was a Niagara Falls, New York, and a Niagara Falls, Canada.
I didn't either.
And if you ever go to Niagara Falls, you have to go to the Canadian side because that's the beautiful view that you get of all those really just euphoric, or however you want to word it, pictures of the falls are on the Canadian side. Well, here's the deal. I didn't have a passport. So it's funny because she had the vet papers for the dog. So like the customs people in Canada, they're like, oh, you know, you can come across, but the dog can come across, but your country may not let you back. This is terrible accent, by the way. So they let us across, but they were telling us that like your country probably won't let you back in because things had gotten a little more strict with 9/11. And I was like, well, but I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. When am I ever going to drive back up here and go to Niagara Falls? So we took a risk. I'm not advising you to do this, by the way. And
Right.
we went
Especially
across. Yeah, we went across. And of course, when we came back, the dog got to come back right away because we had the vet papers for it. But we had to go through this 30-minute interrogation. And I'll never
my
forget,
goodness.
the customs guy was just shaking. He's like, I wish you people would stop doing this. Because I guess everyone did it.
Yeah.
Because who would
They're
try?
thinking, okay, we'll take our chances.
Yeah. So, but it was beautiful. Got to go there and just to experience that. And then the only other like vacations that we went outside of the country were on cruise ships. Carnival, man. We went on 2 Carnival trips. I like being on a cruise line because you're disconnected from the world and it's just you and the open water. Have you ever been on a cruise ship?
I've been on a couple of cruises, and I still prefer to fly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lot better experience and everything.
Well, I just the boat's really crowded, and
Yeah.
if you're at a resort, there's not people, you know, everywhere, and you can still go do excursions if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Always do all inclusive though, if you know, get the drink package. So.
I'm going to tell you that $500 drink package.
Yeah.
It's like 18 drinks a day on the cruise. I was like, how do you even come close to that? Some people did. I don't know how.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, we had fun on the last cruise we were on. There was literally, I got to show a picture sometime. There was a guy that I was joking around. He looked just like Steve Martin. And so when I got back and had data on my phone, I posted a picture on Facebook. I said, oh my goodness, I met Steve Martin on our cruise. And all these people were like, wow, that's so awesome because it looked just like him. It wasn't Steve Martin. What would Steve Martin be doing on a Carnival cruise
Right.
ship? Come on, man. Anyways, we're having some fun. We'll step aside. One final segment to go here is we'll talk about what is it National Day of today. There's every day it's a national day of
Chocolate
something.
chip cookie. That's
So
what you said.
We do know
Yeah.
that it's chocolate chip cookie, but there's even more. How about National Kangaroo Day? I'll explain that whenever we come back. Stay with us. Final 5-minute segment coming up here on Good Morning Huntsville. Hey, Good Morning Huntsville. Final segment here on Good Morning Huntsville. Thanks for waking up with us on a Monday. It's 8:08 a.m., so if you had to be at work at 8 o'clock, probably already fired. And don't go talk to Walker County Federal Credit Union for a job because they want people who can be at work on time.
Exactly.
So, I'm just kidding. But anyways, happy Monday. Welcome in. Karen Denman joining us here as our Foundation 5 sponsors, Walker County Federal Credit Union. They do great work. I can sit here truthfully and tell you about it because not only is Karen a friend of mine, and I've known her for a good amount of time since I came to Huntsville, but I also bank with Walker County Federal Credit Union. I've also gotten several loans at WCFCU. One of those, whenever we first got to town, Bridget had her eye on a little Hyundai Santa Fe. And so where did we go? We went to WCFCU.
Right.
You guys helped us with an auto loan. When we moved to Elkins, we really wanted a golf cart. You helped us with a golf cart. There's a lot more that you do. And with summer coming up, there's a lot of opportunities for those fun toys to be out on the water.
Yes, if you're looking for a boat, an RV, an ATV, you name it, we can finance it. We'd be happy to do it for you. Just give me a call. I can tell you what all we need and get you fixed up.
Yeah, and great interest rates as well. We got killer interest rates on both of our vehicles, of course, subject to credit, but they helped us out tremendously. Karen did. She was the senior loan officer, took great care of us, got us taken care of on our car payment, which we're still paying on, and our golf cart, which we paid off.
Right.
And we paid it off because we sold it whenever we moved.
And now you need another one
And
because you're back.
Now we need another one. So, yeah, I'll be hitting up Karen again here before too long also. Did want to remind you before we head out today that we are giving away $25 gift cards this week, gift certificates to the Color Bar. All you have to do is just comment. Just put a hashtag, good morning Huntsville, whatever you want to say, and then like and share this broadcast. And here in just a few minutes, we'll make sure that we give away those today as well. But Karen, been a fun show here. Enjoyed having Denise on, hearing about class of 41, a second best class ever next to class of 29.
Right.
So she's looking at me. She's about to start throwing that Sam Houston helmet at me, which wouldn't feel good. And so anyways, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And tomorrow we will have some more great guests on. I got to look at the calendar because, you know what, I think tomorrow's Tuesday already.
Yes, the 16th.
Tomorrow, my good friend Jack Durish will be joining us from the VFW, talking about Buddy Poppy and more about what the VFW is doing here in Huntsville, Texas. And our guest, guess who's going to be on as our Tuesday guest because Jason Thompson of Guardian Defense can't be here. Deanna Irwin of Advanced Specialties.
Awesome.
So she said, I'm going to step in and help out. And be
Deanna
there.
and I go way, way, way back.
Yeah, so
Yes.
she's going to be on tomorrow. She said, Rob, I'd love to be on anytime we can, and Jason's not able to make it tomorrow, so we're going to have Deanna Irwin on. I did want to remind you before we sign out here that it is National Day of several things. I teased you all ago. It's International Kangaroo Awareness Day. Now, before you laugh, this is actually a serious thing, and Bridget brought this to my attention when we had Braylon. It's like, how do you talk about kangaroos and babies? Well, here's why. Every year on May the 15th, advocates educate and raise awareness for skin-to-skin contact on International Kangaroo Care Awareness Day. It's also known as Kangaroo Care. Skin-to-skin contact encourages everyone to embrace this important practice between newborns and mothers immediately after birth. And there is science behind this that as soon as that baby is born, you immediately do skin-to-skin contact because that baby has been up in the womb. If they're twins, they've been womb mates.
Yes.
Terrible joke. But that's a horrible joke. But Denise is like, I'm getting out of here. This is ridiculous. But it's serious, you know, and even as a father, you can feel just that connection with your child when that little baby is fresh and new. And so that was one way I got Braylon. You know, it was weird. I'd lay down on the couch and I would have her and I'd have a T-shirt on and she'd be all restless and fussy. I'd take my shirt off and I'd lay her on my chest. All of a sudden, she's right asleep. So there is science to it. The term kangaroo care got its name from a type of care that a kangaroo mother provides their infant. A kangaroo mother has a little pouch on the front of her body, and this little pouch acts as a second womb. When a joey, or baby kangaroo, any joeys out there watching, good morning, baby kangaroos, is inside the pouch, it stays warm and protected. In addition, the pouch also offers a cozy environment to which to grow. Just like a mother kangaroo, a human mother can offer the same security. So it is Kangaroo Care Day, and guess what? We're going to be having a little kangaroo care on July the 15th when baby Caden comes. It's also a couple of days here, International Day of Families, a day to celebrate families today. Happens on this day, 15th of May. International Day of Families provides an opportunity to promote awareness of issues relating to families and increase knowledge of social, economic, and demographic processes that affect them. So a very important day today, International Families Day. It is, oh man, this one, I'm sorry, ladies, I messed up today. It's Bring Flowers to Someone Day. And I forgot, I didn't bring y'all any flowers today. So how about that? Call Sweet Carolines, bring flowers to someone today. It is International Bring Flowers to someone today. April showers means May 15th is Bring Flowers to Someone Day. I don't know about April showers because we've had May flooding.
Oh, we have.
It's also Peace Officers Memorial Day as we honor all of those peace officers. And then National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. How about this one? And I forgot to honor this day, guys. I've really forgot to. I messed up today, Karen. It's National Nylon Stocking Day, and I forgot to wear my nylon stockings.
Ooh.
I totally forgot about
I
it.
forgot mine too.
Is that still a thing? Are people still wearing
I don't
those?
think so. I don't think so.
Man, that was a thing like back in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. But
Everybody.
not today. Those things are too hot.
Nobody's wearing nylon stocking. If you're wearing them, you let us know because we need to know about this. So it is International Nylon Stocking Day today. Well, that'll wrap it up here on the show. Karen, been a fun one this morning. Thank you for all that you do on the community, and Denise for being here this morning. Again, make sure to join us tomorrow morning as we'll be back at it. Jack Durst will be joining us from the Veterans of Foreign Wars post here in Huntsville to talk about the great work that they are doing. Before I let you go, what are you thankful for most today, Karen?
I'm just thankful for our community. I'm thankful for Huntsville and all the people in it, and for making this place what it is.
There you go. You heard it from Karen here. That's why we bring you the show. Again, a big thank you to Walker County Federal Credit Union for all that they do here in Huntsville as well. Well, that'll do it for today. Again, join us tomorrow. And as we end every single broadcast, I want to remind you today that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other, friends. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. As always, good morning. God bless Huntsville. We'll see you back at it bright and early tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.